Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the most significant conflicts of our time, the Russia-Ukraine war. This conflict has shaped the lives of millions and has profound global implications. Understanding its roots and developments is crucial for grasping contemporary international relations. To understand the war, we need to look back at history. Ukraine gained its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, but its relationship with Russia has always been complex. Since 1993, Western organizations, including USAID, have played a significant role in promoting democratic movements in Ukraine. These efforts were aimed at supporting civil society, electoral processes, and governance reform. Funding initiatives helped foster political engagement and build institutions that aligned more closely with European democratic values. A key event occurred in late 2013 with the Euromaidan protests. These protests erupted when then-President Viktor Yanukovych decided to suspend an association agreement with the European Union, opting instead for closer ties with Russia. The movement quickly grew, fueled by widespread frustration over government corruption and a desire for a European future. The protests culminated in February 2014, leading to Yanukovych's ousting. This political upheaval alarmed Russia, which viewed Ukraine's shift towards the West as a direct threat to its influence. Following this, Crimea's regional parliament declared independence from Ukraine and requested to join Russia, citing the fears of living under a pro-Western government. Polls conducted in Crimea in 2008, 2011, and then again in 2014 showed significant support for closer ties with Russia among Crimeans. In March 2014, following a controversial referendum, Russia annexed Crimea, claiming it was protecting the interests of Russian-speaking populations. The current conflict escalated in February 2022 when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This invasion was justified by Russia as a means to protect Russian-speaking populations in Ukraine, many of whom felt marginalized by the Ukrainian government. In the years leading up to the war, particularly after the Euromaidan protests, many ethnic Russians and Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine felt increasingly alienated from the central government in Kyiv. They perceived the new Ukrainian leadership as pro-Western and hostile to their cultural identity and language rights. Legislative changes, such as the reduction of Russian language usage in official settings, fueled feelings of disenfranchisement among these communities. Furthermore, the Ukrainian government's focus on integrating with the European Union and NATO was viewed as a direct threat by many in eastern Ukraine, who preferred closer ties with Russia. This sense of marginalization contributed to growing support for pro-Russian separatist movements in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, which ultimately declared independence from Ukraine, leading to the Donbass Civil War. Since the invasion, we've seen significant developments on the battlefield. Much of the land that Russia aims to control, particularly in eastern Ukraine and the southern regions, is already under their military influence. Key cities like Mariupol and parts of Donetsk and Luhansk have seen intense fighting, with Russian forces making advances in these areas. Despite widespread international sanctions aimed at crippling the Russian economy, the effectiveness of these measures is debatable. While there have been some noticeable impacts, such as inflation and a decline in certain sectors, Russia's economy has shown resilience. Energy exports continue to flow, particularly to countries like China and India, offsetting some losses from Western markets. Moreover, the sanctions have not significantly hindered Russia's military objectives. The Kremlin has adapted to the restrictions, finding alternative markets and methods to sustain its economy and military operations. As a result, Russia remains largely intact economically, allowing it to pursue its territorial ambitions without significant disruption. NATO and the European Union have been crucial in responding to the crisis. While they have sent substantial military aid and funding to Ukraine, including weapons, training, and financial support, Russia has still managed to secure much of the territory it desires. The ongoing military support has bolstered Ukraine's defenses, but it has not prevented Russian gains on the ground. President Volodymyr Zelensky has taken a hardline stance against negotiations, even signing a bill into law early in the invasion stating that he would never sit down at the table with Russia. This commitment to avoid dialogue complicates peace talks further, as it closes off potential avenues for resolution and prolongs the conflict. Zelensky's position is rooted in national pride and the desire to maintain Ukraine's sovereignty, but it also raises questions about the feasibility of achieving peace in the near term. As of now, the conflict continues with ongoing battles and shifting territorial control. The war has transformed Europe's security landscape and has far-reaching implications for global politics and economies, including energy prices and supply chains. The economic detriments of this war are being felt not just in Ukraine and Russia, but across the globe. For Ukraine, the destruction of infrastructure and disruption of agricultural production have led to severe economic challenges, exacerbating food shortages and humanitarian crises. Russia, despite the sanctions, has managed to maintain some economic stability through its energy exports, but it faces long-term consequences, including isolation from Western markets and technology. The war has also diverted significant resources that could have been used for domestic development. Globally, countries are grappling with rising energy prices and inflation, as the conflict has disrupted supply chains and created uncertainty in the market. Nations dependent on Ukrainian grain, for example, face food insecurity, while energy-dependent economies in Europe are struggling to secure alternative sources. This conflict not only reshapes the geopolitical landscape, but also poses a significant threat to global economic stability, leading to potential recessions and increased tensions in various regions. The future remains uncertain. Potential outcomes range from a prolonged conflict to a negotiated peace. The war's long-term effects on Ukraine and Russia, as well as on international relations, will be felt for years to come. Thank you for joining me in exploring the complexities of the Russia-Ukraine war. It's vital to stay informed about this ongoing conflict, as it shapes not just the region, but the entire world. Keep engaging with reliable news sources to understand the latest developments. Please check the description for links to further reading and resources. Understanding history is key to preventing future conflicts. See you next time.